What is up, guys? My name is Xander Foster, and today is October 11th, which means it's National Coming Out Day, and I just wanted to make this video, talk to you guys about coming out, some of my thoughts that have come up today. So, as most of you know, I am a female to male transgender man. Is that redundant? Female to male transgender man? I was assigned female at birth, and now I'm a boy. So, you're caught up. I'm not going to give my entire coming out story. I can make a separate video on that if you guys want me to. The Spark Notes version is that I was 12, just about to turn 13, and I finally found a definition for the feeling and the identity that I knew that was mine to claim for many years. I found a label for that, which was transgender, and immediately came out to my family and friends and peers as soon as I found that word. For me, that was really life-changing and life-saving. Coming out has given me not only a word for my identity, but also this community and a golden ticket. Instead of a chocolate factory, it was my ticket to be authentic. Coming out really came at the right time for me. You know, I think a lot of kids, when they're growing up, they're becoming teenagers and becoming young adults, they are searching for some sort of belonging in this world. If they're the least bit different, you know, in a non-traditional way, then it can be really hard. Really, we search for people that are like us to normalize our experience and also tell us that it's okay and that there are people like us. Growing up trans and not having that feeling of belonging, you know, for so long I sort of felt like I was not a girl and somehow not a boy, and so I didn't really have a place where I belonged in the eyes of myself or my peers or, you know, the adults in my life. Coming out really gave me that sense of belonging and that sense of community behind me, and I sort of always had that identity, but because I didn't have a name for it, it didn't feel real, and more than that, it didn't feel like mine. It felt like I was holding this identity for someone else, and you know, someday someone was gonna come along and say, oh, thanks for like babysitting my identity, I'd like it back, please. The second thing that coming out gave me was a permission, an allowance to start my transition. First, I had to come out to myself and say, you know, this is who I am, and whether it's okay or not, you know, we'll deal with later, but this is what's going on. Then I had to come out to my family and my friends, and it was a very long process to get to the point where I was comfortable starting my transition, you know, for real, and switching pronouns in my name and my wardrobe, not to mention, you know, hormones and surgery and everything. But coming out started all of that. One thing that I've experienced since coming out is people trying to tell me what my identity is or what it's not. And what I've come to realize is that no one can tell you what your identity is. I know there's always going to be people that say that I'm not a real man, or that I'm not really trans, or that I'm not living my authentic life, but that's not anybody's right to say except mine. One thing that I've come to realize is that no one knows what your identity is. No one can see your identity except you, because it's within you. And you can express that outwardly and you can show people who you are, but nobody can tell you who you are. We get caught up in this idea that, oh, well, my friends really know me, or my mom knows me best. And if these people that know me say that I'm not gay, or say that I'm not trans, or say that I'm not a real man, then maybe that's true. When I first was coming out, I had a lot of people tell me that I wasn't a guy. I had a lot of people tell me that I wasn't really trans, or that I was just a lesbian, or that this was some phase that I was going to grow out of, because I did go through a lot of phases as a child. I think a lot of people thought that this was just another one of those. As a 7th grader, I was very fragile, and so to have these adults or have these peers that I respected challenge this newfound identity, it got to me, and I started saying, what if I'm not a real guy? What if I'm gay? What if I'm gonna grow out of this? What if this, you know, is temporary? I think I just got to this point of exhaustion, that I was just so tired of other people telling me who I was, and I settled with the fact that, okay, maybe I don't have this all figured out. Maybe someday down the line, you know, I'll change the label I identify with, or I'll change the expression that I present to everyone, but right now this feels 150% right, and I'm not gonna let anyone take this away from me. The more that I come out to myself, the more it's reinforced to me that no one can give me my identity, that has to come from within me. Other people can help me discover who I am, but that identity, what's written in stone inside of my heart, who I am and who I was when I was born into this world, the identity that I've been destined to claim as my own is never going to change. You know, I might identify as something else. You know, if you asked me 10 years ago if I was a boy or a girl, I would have told you I was a girl. Obviously, I can identify as different things, you know, throughout my life. But my identity and who I am is something that I need to discover for myself. Once I came to terms with that, it was a heck of a lot easier to shut out all of these comments that everyone else was saying. You can throw anything at me, and that might make me question myself at times, but it's not going to change my identity. Anything that anyone says, no matter how close they are to you, no matter who it is, no one can take away your identity, and no one can give you an identity. So I've been coming out for 7 years now. I've gotten pretty good at it, but it is very different now than it was when I was 12. In the early stages of my transition, when I came out to someone, I was revealing my identity and my future. It was a lot of my future. It was a lot of what I want to do. You know, I want to start hormones. I want to have top surgery. I want to change my name. Now when I come out, it reveals a lot more about my past than it does my future. It reveals how I got here, you know, and where I started. My hope is that as more people come out, as more people share their stories, and we hear all of these unique, diverse voices, we are able to understand each other. We are able to move to a place of acceptance and tolerance and love. I hope that if you identify within the LGBT community, that you celebrate today, whether you're out or whether you're in the closet, and you are able to reflect on some parts of your identity and what has brought you here and what the future holds. I'd love to hear any thoughts that you guys have on today or anything that I talked about in this video, so just drop them in the comments below. I love reading everything that you guys have to say. If you want to see my transition updates, I'll leave that link in the description box, and if you want to see videos from me in the future, then subscribe. Peace.